Yes, good morning to all of you. If my voice is audible, is that audible to all of you? Yes. Is that audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We will wait for a minute to others to join, then we will start our class. So what we are discussing in the previous class, क्या discuss कर रहे थे हम लोग? Yeah, anyone can repeat what we are discussing in the previous class? Yes, what we are discussing in the previous class? So uh, in the previous class, so we have derived the equation for two-dimensional Fourier transformation or two-dimensional discrete Fourier transformation. Okay, so no. So if you see, so what we have derived, yeah. So because as we know that basically our image is basically represented in a two-dimensional discrete format. Yes or no? जो भी हम लोग का image है, so that represented in a two-dimensional discrete format with the function which is given by, so any pixel if you take, so this will be represented by f of xy. Okay. Now this function f of xy is nothing but your two-dimensional discrete signal. Okay, two-dimensional discrete signal. Now we can say there is a two columns. We can say x which is ranges from 0 to n minus 1, and 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 there is a y column which is also ranges from 0 to n minus 1. Fine. If the size of the image is n cross n. Clear? So now if this is a signal, f of xy is a signal, or I can say if this is an image which is represented by this one, then this is Fourier transformation of this image is given by capital F of u, and this is a mathematical formula. Fine. So this mathematical formula is gives you the Fourier transformation of this discrete function. Similarly, I can derive the inverse Fourier transformation. That means if I want to get the actual spatial domain from the frequency domain, so we can use this formula. Okay. So this is a formula which will be used for IDFT. Okay. IDFT, or we can say two-dimensional in IDFT, which is inverse discrete Fourier transformation. So basically, inverse discrete Fourier transformation are used to find the actual image or spatial domain of the image. Fine. Here, so this is the mathematical formula that we have to use. Then we have discussed some of the properties related to this one. Yes or no? Then we have discussed some of the properties related to uh, discrete Fourier transformation. Okay, so what are the properties that we have discussed? So we have discussed very first property, which is separable property. Okay, now again one more thing to remember: all the magnitude spectrum or frequency spectrum given by the same formula, but here we have to find with respect to the two-dimensional, which is u and v. Similarly, here this is your phase angle formula, and this is your power spectrum formula. Okay. So now, so then we have discussed some of the examples how we can convert. Now this is a particular image. Suppose this is my given image. Now this particular will represent your magnitude spectrum, and this particular represent your phase spectrum. Okay. Now this is another example. So now in this example, in this slide, we have taken different image, and this is the Fourier transformation representation of these images. Okay. So in the second column, okay, on the second row, the images that is shown are nothing but the Fourier transformation, or I can say the frequency domain representation of the above given images. Fine, clear? Now, again, suppose you want to retrieve the original image. Now you have to combine both the frequency domain as well as the phase domain. They are combined together to get back the original image. This is called IDFT, inverse distinct Fourier transformation. Fine. Now we have to discuss in this topic, particularly we have to discuss these are the different properties that we have to discuss. On that first property we have discussed, which is separability or separable. So what this say? So finding of inverse of any image, that is finding of U of UV. Okay, U of UV. This is equivalent to finding of Fourier transformation in row wise. Okay, so first what we'll, instead of finding the direct two-dimensional transformation, what we'll do? First we'll find the one-dimensional, that is row-wise transformation. Then I will perform column-wise transformation. Then whatever image we will get, that will be equivalent to when we are performing the direct transformation. So this is the separable property of the Fourier transformation. Okay. So this is a separable property of the Fourier transformation. So we already seen. So what is a mathematical formula for a Fourier transformation? So this will be equivalent. Okay, this will be equivalent whether you are performing transformation along the x-axis, transformation along the y-axis. So this is a proof. Basically, this is the proof which we have discussed in the previous class. Now, if you see the example, okay, now suppose this is an image given. So what we have done, so instead of direct converting this image to the Fourier transformation, what we can do, now first we will convert this image by row transformation. Okay, then what I will do, I will convert this image by column transformation. Okay, then whatever image, so once we perform the column transformation, whatever image we get, that will be the equivalent to the your Fourier transformation of the image. Okay, तो कहने का मतलब है, instead of directly transform करने के वजह से, besides you can directly transform the image, you can convert into two different steps. Okay, one step, first step is called row transformation, and second is called your column transformation. The output of the resulted image will be same. So this we have already discussed. Yes or no? Yes. So this property you have to remember. Okay, this property you have to remember. Fine. This property आपको याद रखना है, because you have to use this property while image transformation. Fine. So today we are going to discuss the second property. Okay, which is your image or Fourier translation. Okay, second property, which is called Fourier translation. Now, suppose I say there is a signal, or there is a distinct signal which is represented by a f of xy. Okay. Now, suppose the coordinate x and y are translated to the new position. Okay, or translated vector to the x0 and y0. Okay, so what we are doing now, we are performing a translation on the coordinate. So, if the original signal is f of xy, okay, or I can say if I want to translate the coordinate x to x0 and y to y0, then the representation in a two-dimensional distinct signal, it is given by f of x dash x0 comma y dash y0. Now this is your transform image. This is your transform image or translated image in your time domain or spatial domain. Okay. So when we convert, okay, now suppose this is, suppose I write capital F of ut. Now capital F of ut represent what? If I write capital F of uv, so what is capital F of uv? Capital F of uv is nothing but your Fourier transformation of original coordinate, and capital T of uv, okay, suppose I have capital T of uv represent your Fourier transformation of the translated image. Okay, Fourier transformation of translated image. Then what is the relation between these two? The relation between these two will be given as this one. Okay, fine. Getting my point? Now, if again I'm repeating, if f of xy is original image or xy is your original coordinate, suppose I am performing a translation. Okay, translator shifting, performing shifting to the new coordinate x0 and y0. Then the actual representation in the spatial domain will be f of x dash comma x0 comma y dash y0. Fine. Now capital F of uv gives your Fourier transformation of this signal, and capital F of t uv gives the Fourier transformation of this signal. Then what is the relation between these two? The relation between these two will be, okay, what will be? The capital T of uv, that is the Fourier transformation of translated image, will be the Fourier transformation of original image into e to power of this one. Okay. Now, actually, what is happened when we were performing a translation in your spatial domain or time domain? Okay. Then what will be changes in your frequency domain? The changes will be in frequency domain will be in terms of your phase spectrum. Okay, or in terms of phase, the magnitude remains same. Okay, the magnitude of the image remains same. That means the magnitude spectrum will remain same. There will be only changes in the phase angle. Some additional phase angles are added. First point you have to remember. Okay, what will happen if you change some translation is performing time domain? So what will be the transform translation in frequency domain? The magnitude of the frequency domain will remain same, but some additional phase angle are added. Okay, now this is a relation which is given. Okay, if this is by translated Fourier transformation, it is nothing but original into some phase angle. So how it is derived? How it is derived? Very simple. Now, if I want to find f of tuv, the same formula 1 upon n summation of, okay, now you can write x dash comma x0 equal to 0 to n minus 1. This is translated image n minus 1. Now, similarly, y dash minus y0 is ranging from n minus 1. Now, this is f of xy e to the power of minus z 2 pi upon n by u of x and y. Now x and y are changes to x dash comma x0, y dash comma y0. Fine. Now suppose आप इसको अगर हम open करेंगे, now if I open this one, okay, if I open this one, now it will be something like ux minus u naught plus vy minus vy. Okay. Now what happens? So I combine write this one. So what I return? So I return like something ux plus vy. ठीक है, और ये माइनस कॉमन ले लिया, अब आपका हो गया u x0 प्लस v y0. फाइन. नाउ दिस थिंग इज रिटन हियर. नाउ इसको ओपन करके हम लोगों ने इसको एलोबरेट किया है. तो दिस कैन बी रिटन टू फंक्शन. ओके, वन इज योर e टू पावर माइनस z 2 pi upon n ux plus uv, this term. Second one is e to power minus z 2 pi upon u x naught plus y naught. Fine. Now we already know this entire thing. अगर हम लोग इसको लेंगे, this entire thing is what? If I consider this entire thing is nothing but f of uv, and this is written here. Okay. Now what changes we have identified? The identified changes will be the magnitude of Fourier transformation will remain same, but there is some additional addition of some phase angle. So what is the phase angle? Now this is a phase angle which will be added. Fine. Is it clear to all of you what translation properties say? Is it clear to all of you? Is that clear to all of you? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Or any doubt regarding translation? What is happening in translation? Yes. So what does the translation property say? What does the translation property say? If I convert f of xy or translate f of xy to new coordinate x dash comma x naught y minus y naught. So this is a translation in time domain. Then what changes will happen in frequency domain? The frequency domain will be given at uv will be given at, okay, or I can write utv. Your translation domain will be nothing but your original Fourier transformation into minus j 2 pi n Now there is additional of phase angle. This will be u x naught plus v y naught. So this is addition of phase angle. Fine. This is called translation property. Okay, translation property of an Fourier transformation. Okay, so similarly, if you find the inverse Fourier transformation, okay, inverse Fourier transformation, which is basically given by, this is the formula which is given by inverse Fourier transformation. Now, if you want to find the inverse Fourier transformation, nothing but this formula is given by the inverse Fourier transformation, which is same. So there will be some changes in the terms of phase angle only. Now this will be same f of uv dot e to the power of minus 2 pi n e to the power of 0 plus v to the power of y naught. Fine. So this is the formula which is given for your inverse Fourier transformation. Fine. So at this point you have to remember, while changing or while shifting to y naught, x naught and y naught, it does not changes the Fourier spectrum, but it added some of the additional phase angle. Okay, so let's move the third property. Third property is called your periodicity. Okay, so what periodicity will be? It will say that the periodicity says that discrete Fourier transform and inverse Fourier transform are periodic with the time n. That means if you have a Fourier transformation signal f of uv, now this will be equal to any periodic signal with respect to u. That means if I add any periodic signal n to u, okay, this will be equivalent to the original Fourier signal. Similarly, this will be equivalent to any periodic signal that is added to the v coordinate. Now this will be also equivalent, or this is also equivalent to any periodic signal added to the both the coordinate. Okay, any periodic signal which is added to the both the coordinate. Okay, now this property says क्या बोलता है, if it is periodic in nature. Okay, Fourier transformation is periodic in nature with respect to a time period n. Okay, that means if you add the time period n to either a u-axis or either a v-axis or either the both the axis, okay, the Fourier transformation will remain same. The Fourier transformation will remain same. It will not changes. Now we can prove easily. We can prove this one. So how to prove it? Now f of uv is given by this equation. Fine. Now suppose I want to find this periodic transformation with respect to the n period in x direction and n period in y direction. Okay. Now I have to find f of u plus n, f of u plus n. The same formula, just replace. So we have to replace one more term, that is nx plus ny. Fine. Because now here आपका जो x है अभी आपका u क्या होगा? U will be replaced from u plus n and v will be replaced from v plus n. So in this formula here, u will be replaced from what? Now it will be something u plus n. Now in this formula, u will be something u plus n into x plus v plus n into y. Y. जब आप इसको ओपन करो क्या होगा? इट विल समथिंग ux प्लस yv प्लस nx प्लस ny. ठीक है. So again, what we'll do, we'll separately we can write. So separately, when I separately write, I can write this term as in one term. Fine. This ux plus vy is written in one term, and this n I have taken common. Okay. Now n is multiplied here, and n is common. So n and just cancel. So it will be written in this form. Fine. So when you find the value of this, the value of this will be exactly equal to 1. Okay, value of this will be equal to 1. Fine. So when we find the value of this will be equal to 1. So what we'll get? So we will get, finally we get this one, which is originally equal to, it will be equal to what? F of uv. Okay, so what it says, so if any periodic transformation is performed with the period n, okay, so कभी भी अगर आप जब भी हम लोग एक पीरियोडिक ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन करेंगे विथ रेस्पेक्ट टू पीरियड n, ठीक है, तो उसका जो फोरियर ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन होगा दैट विल बी इक्वल टू its original Fourier transformation. Now this equation you have to remember this formula. Fine. So f of uv is original Fourier transformation, which is equal to, if there is a some periodic transformation with respect to the n, with respect to the u with the period n, that will be equal to the first one. Similarly, with respect to v, that will be also equal to first one. And similarly, with respect to both the coordinate u and v, then also it will be equal to the original Fourier transformation. Okay, so we will get the same set of signals. So that means we have get the same set of signals. So whenever you perform the transformation, that means when we have periodic properties. Okay, so whether it is transformed in periodic properties. Clear? So this is something about what we will, what is your periodicity in your Fourier transformation. Okay, periodicity properties say the Fourier transformation will not change. Okay, will not change. It will not change if you translate or transform with respect to some period n. Okay, now fourth property is very important properties. Okay, which is called conjugate property. Okay, so what the conjugate properties say? Now, what the conjugate properties say? The conjugate properties say f of uv is, suppose f of uv is the original transform, then this conjugate of it will be equal to, this conjugate is represented by f star, and it will be equal to f star minus uv. So let me prove this one. Let me prove with the example. So how it is equal? Now suppose I say f of x y, if it is your original signal, if f of xy is your original signal, okay, and if I say, and if I take f star, small f star xy, so now it will be a conjugate of this one. Okay, so what is the conjugate? What is the conjugate? The conjugate is, suppose f of xy is represented by some matrix. Suppose some matrix like this 1 0 0 1. All of you know how to find the conjugate? Yes. Do you know how to find the conjugate? 1 0 0 1 minus 1. Okay. Now suppose this is f of xy. Now f star xy. This is nothing but conjugate of the matrix f of xy. Okay. Now this is spatial domain. So if I want to find the conjugate, what will happen? Your complex sign of the complex number will be interchanged. So when I find the conjugate of this, it will be 1 0 0 1. Now 1, it will be j. The sign will be interchanged. Minus j will be plus j. 1 1. Now it will be 1 0. Now what happened? The plus j will be minus j. The 0. Now 1 1 minus 1 minus 1. Now this will be represented. Now suppose this is a matrix, original matrix. Now this will be represented. Suppose this side right is A. Now this will be a conjugate matrix. This will be represented by A star. Now this is called conjugate. Clear? So what do you mean by conjugate? So what I am saying now, if f of xy is the original signal and f star xy is a conjugate signal, okay, okay, then f of uv is nothing but what? The Fourier transformation of original signal, okay, and if I write f of star uv is nothing but your conjugate signal of this one, then what will be the relation between these two? So now I have to find the relation between these two. Yes or no? Yes or no? The relation between these two is nothing but f of uv is equal to f star. So f star is your conjugate of this one. Now it will be minus of u and minus of v. Fine. This is the equation that holds for conjugate. So that means when you are performing the conjugate in a spatial domain, so what will change is the conjugate of the frequency domain will be changed with respect to its coordinate. Now instead of plus uv, it will be minus u and minus v. Now it can be easily derived. So I know that f of uv. Okay, what is f of uv? Nothing but 1 upon n summation of x equal to 0 to n minus 1 and y equal to 0 to n minus 1. Now it will be f of xy e to the power of minus j 2 pi n ux plus vy. Now this is the original Fourier transformation. Okay. Now suppose suppose if I apply the complex to it, okay, complex property to it. Now when I apply the complex property to it, so it will be, or if I find the conjugate property to it, now it will be f of uv, f star uv will be equal to now 1 upon n. Okay. Now x equal to 0 to n minus 1 and summation of y equal to 0 to n minus 1. Now it will be, now I perform the complex property, so it will be x star. Okay, it will be f star x and y. Now e to the power of minus j 2 pi and y x plus vy. Okay. Now when I change to this conjugate property, now what will happen? Now it will be something changes to the inverse part of this will be changes to plus 1. Now so it will be, can be written as, this one be written as f of xy can be written as, now this j will become positive. Fine, yes or no? Because according to the conjugate property, when you perform the conjugation, so what will happen? The complex part will be changes. That means minus part will become plus. So it will be ux plus vy. Fine. So this is the actual equation. So this is summation 1 upon n. Okay. Now if I interchange, suppose now if you find star of minus u comma minus v, now what will happen? Now it will be originally as summation 1 upon summation x and y equal to 0 to n minus 1. Now this will be original f of xy. Now it will be something j 2 pi n y minus ux minus vy. Now if you take minus symbol outside, so it will be e to the power of minus j 2 pi n ux plus vy. So this is nothing but what? Your f of uv. Fine. So what happened? So whenever you find the conjugate of this one, so what will happen? It will be nothing but your for when you find the conjugate in frequency domain, it will be minus of uv. F conjugate is given by minus of uv. Fine. So this is the derivation. How we are deriving this formula. So what is the property says? So the properties says that, so okay, the conjugate property says that if xy, that f of xy is a real value, okay, if f of xy is real value, then in conjugate property this condition will be hold good. Okay, then the conjugation in a Fourier dimension, okay, Fourier transformation, okay, conjugate in Fourier transformation will be nothing but f star minus u minus v, where f star represents your complex conjugate. Okay, f star represents your complex conjugate. Now the point to be remembered here the magnitude spectrum or frequency spectrum will be same. That is mod of uv, f uv will be equal to mod of minus u minus v. Okay, clear? So this property is basically useful for your visualizing the Fourier spectrum. Okay, this property, the conjugate property, are basically useful for visualizing your Fourier spectrum. Fine. So this property is called conjugation property. Now, remember this one, f of xy, if is original signal, then in terms of spatial coordinate, f star xy will be your complex conjugate of the signal. Okay. So, but in terms of frequency domain, if it is represented by UV and F star, UV represent your complex conjugated frequency domain, then what is the relation between these two? What is the relation between these two? So whenever you find the complex conjugation in frequency domain, then your F star minus UV minus U minus V will be equal to F of UV. So this is the relation in terms of frequency domain. Fine. So how we will find the complex conjugate in frequency domain? So point is that the frequency spectrum or magnitude spectrum will be remain same. Okay. So the transform spectrum, Fourier spectrum will be remain same, and this is basically used for visualizing purpose. Okay, this is a property number 4. Now the fifth property is your convolution and correlation. Okay, this is not correlation, it will be convolution and correlation. Okay, so as we are know, convolution is one of the most powerful operation in digital image processing. Okay, so most now convolution is a property that we are going to frequently use in case of digital image processing. Okay, and it is a very powerful process. And we have already discussed the convolution in your time domain or spatial domain will be equivalent to multiplication in your frequency domain. So whatever convolution we will find in spatial domain, now suppose f of xy, okay, is one signal and g of xy is another signal. Okay, now suppose I want to find the convolution of these two signal. Fine. So convolution of these two signal will be given as some mathematical function like k equal to minus infinity to infinity. So it will be f of k into g of x minus k. So this is a mathematical formula for convolution. So when you find the convolution of these two signal, okay, so this will be found with the help of this equation. Now it is very complex to find the convolution, okay, but it is very easier to find the multiplication. So what will be, instead of finding the convolution in the spatial domain or time domain, so what I will do, I will find the multiplication in the frequency domain. Fine. So instead of finding the convolution in the spatial domain, so what I will do, I will convert. Now if f of x y, now capital F of u represent your Fourier transformation of f of x, and capital G of u if represent your Fourier transformation of g of x. Now if you find the multiplication of these two, the whatever the output will be gives, okay, whatever the result it will give, it will be equivalent to what we have find the convolution in the spatial domain. Fine. Similarly, the reverse is also true. Okay, reverse is also true. What the reverse will say, now if you want to find the convolution in the frequency domain, okay, if you find the convolution in the frequency domain, that f of u convolution of g of u will be equal to multiplication of these two signal in the spatial domain. That means f of x into g of x. Now this is your convolution property. Okay, so this property is very important. Okay, because so whenever we want to find the convolution of any images, so instead of finding the convolution, what we will find? So we will find the multiplication in other domain. Okay, clear? So similarly, this is given. This can be extended to the two dimension also. Suppose one signal is f of xy, then you have to find the convolution. Okay, to find the convolution of this with respect to g of m and another signal. Now what is the resultant? Resultant will be, I will find the Fourier transformation of first signal, then I will multiply this with the Fourier transformation of another signal. Fine. Similarly, the reverse will also true for this two dimensional. Now if you want to find the convolution of these two signal, Okay, now suppose this is suppose take it as K L L. K L. Now K and L, this will be equal to multiplication of these two signal in frequency domain, that will be xy into g of xy. Fine. So this is called convolution property. I can analyze this property with the help of the diagram, okay, or with the help of the image. Now you can better understand this one. So, okay, I will explain in the lab. Okay, in the lab you are having that one, so I forget to add that slide here actually. Okay, so that means when you either perform the convolution of on the image or you perform the multiplication on the image, the resultant will be similar. Okay, the next property, which is called correlation property. Okay, the correlation property is basically used to uh, find the similarity between two images. Okay, so if I'm having two images or two signals, basically two signals, so whenever I want to find the relation between these two signals, so I will use the correlation property. Again, the correlation property much similar to the convolution property, but there are slight changes. Now, if you want to find the correlation between two signals, okay, f of xy and g of xy, this is a correlation symbol, then it is nothing but it will be the multiplication of two Fourier transformation, but here the f of xy will be your complex conjugate. Here will be simply you multiply f of uv and g of uv. But in this case, well, while finding the correlation between the two functions, then you have to first find the complex conjugate of that one, then you have to multiply that with the second function. Similarly, the reverse is true also. Suppose you find the uh, correlation between two function or two images uh, in your frequency domain, that will be equal to multiplication of two signal in spatial domain, but here the first signal should be a complex conjugate of the previous signal. Okay, यहाँ पे क्या था correlation में आपका दोनों जो function था वो same function था, f of x and f of y, simply we multiply. But in this case, we will no doubt we will multiply the two function. But what is the multiplication function? Here the first function that is multiplied, that will be your complex conjugate. Or you can make this one as a complex conjugate and this as a simple. Okay, it depends upon the user what is taken. Either you take this one complex conjugate or you can take this one complex conjugate. Fine. This is something called correlation and convolution property with respect to your Fourier transformation. So any question in today's class? So any doubt? So what we have learned today? So we have continued the properties of Fourier transformation. So first property we learned today is translation. Okay, so what the translation is say? So if you translate the coordinate in frequency domain, so your amplitude will be not changed, but there will be some additional of phase angle. Okay? Then second thing we learn periodicity. So what periodicity will say? The Fourier transformation signal are periodic in nature. Okay, that means if you change the signal in your spatial domain some period n, okay, the same transformation you perform in your uh, frequency domain also, then you will say it will have same result. That will be, that is, it is periodic in nature. Okay, then